I will say, since we're kind of talking about songs now, we can return to Jonathan as he pops up here and there. But of the new songs, they're all basically really bad and super generic. I think
it's
Princess
they
Problems
clash
was
big
probably
time.
the best.
I'd say
But
that's like the most that feels like a musical. The rest of them feel like pop songs.
yeah,
Like
yes,
the
pop
new one that
songs.
they have, what's it called? It's like the song of this movie.
I can't remember. Yeah, I know exactly.
I can't remember
it's
how
one
it
that
goes.
they
Waiting on a
It's too
wanted
Wish.
it to
generic.
Waiting on
be-
a Wish. That's the one.
That's
Waiting
the
on a
one.
Wish is like the new. If you could say that every Disney film generally has the one song that you would point to, like The Lion King would be. Oh, actually, no. You know what? Never mind. Because I was about to say The Circle of Life. I'm like, well, wait, Hakuna Matata is
Hakuna
pretty.
Matata is...
That's a pretty good one. Well, like in The Little Mermaid, it would be either Part of Your World or Under the Sea. Those would be like the two you'd point to as the main songs.
But even then, you could point to like Poor Unfortunate Souls as being a
You
real
could.
villain.
And Be Prepared for Lion King, right?
And
Be prepared. Fuck, you're right. There's too many.
It's a bit complicated. Sometimes you can point to there being the one song that is like Once Upon a Dream is like the main song of Sleeping Beauty. That's like the song of that movie. And this one is a new one, Waiting on a Wish, which is like a really boring conventional pop song. It doesn't feel like a musical song in the sense that it clashes pretty clearly with Hi Ho and Whistle While You Work, which are musical songs. They're just
bouncy.
Like, yeah,
it's why Princess Problems kind of stands out as not only it stands out as being like it's got some energy and some bounce to it, and it's actually like a conversation that's happening narratively.
Okay, well, maybe you can clear something up for me, because I wasn't liking it because of the whole. I was confused. Like, she's not lived the best of lives. She's just been like essentially outcasted because the queen is attempting to kill her, and she ended up lost in the woods. And then he's like, "Lol, princess problems." And it, broadly,
the song itself is stupid in terms of like
right. Well, because I was gonna say that's what stopped me from enjoying it. I was just listening to what he was saying. And I was like,
Considering, I think it's basically the only song, I guess, apart from Whistle While You Work, where something actually kind of is happening. So in the original, obviously, the songs happen as part of the narrative. Something is happening, something's being expressed that's important that we didn't maybe already know. It doesn't stop the movie. And a lot of the songs in the remake, and I noticed this with it's the second song technically, because they have like the intro song when she's young, and it sucks. But in the when she does her first solo song when she's a maid in the castle, there are huge segments of that song where she's like, nothing's happening. She's not doing anything. There are segments where she's just standing there.
They're very much focusing on her talent at that point. They're like trying to show her off as a singer and actress at the same time.
Which is why I wouldn't say that these are not musical songs. I don't think they're pop songs. I think the problem with every single one of these is that each one of them wants to be the main Broadway tune. Every single one wants to be the thing, or like maybe even like the main theme in Frozen is a good example. Every song in it wants to be the most big, bombastic, thematic, loud, impressively performed thing in the piece. And you lose character and you lose story when you do that. It's a massive difference when you compare the quality and the type and the purpose of the music in the original to this one. Is that the original, as you say, it's part of the narrative, it tells the story, propels the story along. In this one, these are just all songs competing to be top of the track list when the CD goes on sale and they want young girls like singing the chorus in time. There's not really much story content going on with most of these.
The main thing in terms of like the idea that I feel like these songs clash in terms of the way that they're composed is it's like Let It Go. I feel like that song has done a lot of damage to essentially the music in Disney movies, because it is the most conventional song in Frozen and it was far and away the most popular, which is really fucking lame when a lot of the other songs in that film are just better in my view. They're not only better, but that they just feel like they more suit the idea of it being a musical. Like For the First Time in Forever or Do You Want to Build a Snowman are better songs than Let It Go. And I feel like if you look at a lot of the, you think about Belle, right, in Beauty and the Beast, like that's a great song, and it doesn't feel like the kind of song that you would hear on the radio, basically, because it is like, it's a musical. And it's not necessarily going to have the same kind of overlap with the way that you. I don't know, like it's kind of a funny example to bring up, but the South Park movie, which is a really good musical in and of itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My favorite song in that is La Resistance, and the reason why is because it does the shit that I always love, which is when you stack multiple songs on top of each other, it always feels like the biggest flex with the music. It's like you've done such a good job that you're able to incorporate all of these disparate songs into one coherent track. And it's like it's a kind of thing that you would hear in musicals that you're probably not going to be hearing just like on a singular track that you would be hearing for like a pop song, obviously, and that the structure might be quite different to what you would see on the typical pop song that you'd be hearing on the radio. And like Waiting on a Wish, that feels like one that was designed for that. It feels like it's not a song that's it's just like it's really conventionally structured, which doesn't mean it's bad. I think it's just
It's so conventional.
It's just
I couldn't hum it. I couldn't tell you. It's just so it blends in with so much of the movie being generic and forgettable. I couldn't tell. I just watched the movie last night. I couldn't tell you.
I would say
I
like
resent it because I know exactly what it wants to be as well, though. Like, you know what it
Yeah.
wants to be. It wants to be Let It Go, and it's like it's incredibly tiring when things do that. And again, it detracts from a number of scenes because so many other songs also do the same thing. Even the love song does this because these are all big, bombastic, like Let It Go type songs. You get this slightly like hysterical moment where effectively they're not singing to each other; they're just singing very loudly at each other because they're all trying to get the big chorus moment coming in.
That's a good point as well in terms of balance, because, again, thinking about something like, Hakuna Matata is very unlike a lot of the other songs in that film because it's trying to evoke a certain vibe, right? It's like, yeah, everything's
Like Just
chill
Can't
and
Wait to Be
relaxing.
King. Visually,
and that's a different one as well. That's meant to be more like upbeat and exciting. Hakuna Matata's more like laid back, relaxed. Circle of Life is epic. Be Prepared is ominous. Like, they're all essentially striving for different tones, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all really loud.
yeah. If I can plug an animated movie with some of the best songs, criminally underrated. It's Anastasia.
I knew you'd.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Anastasia has insanely good songs.
That might just be a criminally
underrated.
underrated pick for us in general.
It is
film in
criminally-
general. It is. It's
Yeah.
underrated. That's a good
Starting
film.
with like A Rumor in St. Petersburg with all the people talking and all the places it goes through. Journey to the Past, which is excellent.
Bro, in
Once
the Dark
Upon
of
a
the Night.
December and the Dark
Yeah.
of the Night. When they're the Learn to Do It song, as they're teaching her all this stuff. And then there's a whole sequence when they get to Paris, and there's a big Paris song. Paris Holds the Key to Your Heart. It's just so many different kinds of songs with different vibes, and
to
each
say
of them
that,
is just excellent.
The thing is, you can just point to this being the case in a lot of the well-regarded Disney films. Like Aladdin has a super diverse set of songs. Prince Ali, A Friend Like Me, oh god damn it, One Jump Ahead. It's like, oh yeah, this is a fucking good selection of songs that are really like matching the tone that you're trying to evoke in each given scene. Whereas these ones do blend together. Like, I can't remember the opening song of this film at all.
No, I can't. They do like some vocal thing that I can't remember. It's just all there's no like fun melody.
Oh yeah, it's
that
like
sticks in you. That's all I remember.
That's the one. Yeah,
That's
now
the
it is.
thing,
Whereas Hi Ho is like, oh shit, that's catchy. That's some good
I
shit
could just
right
sing you
there.
the fucking song right now. It's so good. It stuck with me.
It's off to work we go.
Someone-
Hi-ho,
You know what's funny as an
hi-ho,
effect by
hi-ho,
comparison, the song you're talking about from the remake, where I don't remember much of any of it because I believe when I was watching the film, that's when my brain was like, yeah, we've heard this one before. It's where she says she's oppressed and one day everything will be great. That's pretty much all you're going to get from this, so you can go to sleep for a minute.
Another reason is just the visual component. When
Yeah.
you think about Once Upon a December in Anastasia, when she's in the old palace and the
Oh,
ghosts
man.
come through the
Oh,
windows and start dancing, holy fucking shit.
Oh yeah,
Things
Yeah.
like that. Someone even, by the way, shout out to the guy in chat who said He Lives in You from Lion King 2. Actually, a good song.
Oh, that's a
'Cause
great
even back
song.
to
Yeah, that is.
even back
yeah.
back in the day, the straight to VHS movies would have good songs. Now even like Aladdin, Prince of Thieves, and all that. Oh, there's a party here in Agrabah. Oh, that shit's so good. But yeah, it's visually there's nothing interesting happening, in these songs.
Well, part of
the
the
first
time, it feels
song,
like the direction is unclear. It's like, okay, now I need to make my determined face. Now I need to make my sad face. Now I need to make my happy face. Like, just kind of at
yeah,
almost arbitrary points in the song.
you don't have just kind of the way that you remember things. You don't have a visual to tie to the memory of the noise. So when she's just standing around singing, she's just standing around. There's nothing happening. When she's has her love song with Jonathan, they're just standing together, singing at each other. There's no interesting
Well, and even
visuals. They
that-
don't do anything. They're not performing any action. They're not going on like in Robin Hood when they have the love song where they're going through the forest through Sherwood Forest, and they're jumping over like hopping over waterfalls, and they're going underneath bushes. Love goes on, and you have all the scenes of them doing things, performing actions. It helps you to remember these songs because there's visually something happening, and they don't have that here.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you bring that because Hi Ho in this film is like ridiculous. It's like
It is
way more
garish.
extravagant
Yes,
and over
yes,
the
yes,
top.
yes.
Like they're on these mine carts, like going around these sharp turns and everything while they're singing. And like you might remember in the original film, the pickaxes are like synchronized with the music. That's essentially what is framing the music in the film is that they're working while they're doing it. Whereas here, instead, they're like singing and it's a lot more loud, certainly a lot
It's
louder.
jumbled,
But it's them
it's
fucking around,
unorganized.
going all over the place.
It's trying
flying
to
around
be
as everything is
epic
glowing.
and extravagant. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's meant to
in
be
the original,
pretty mundane. Their life is pretty straightforward. They go to work and they work in the mines. It's not crazy.
in the original, when the lines are, it ain't no trick to get rich quick when you dig, dig, dig with a shovel or pick. And you've got Doc, who is he's got his little hammer and he bangs on the gem and it sounds like ding, it's wonderful, and
Yeah.
he keeps it. And then he goes donk, donk, donk on the shitty ruby, and he like grimaces and chucks it. And all of that's all of it is in rhythm with the song as the dwarves in the background are singing the chorus, where they say like, we don't even know what we dig the gems for. It's what we do. We're dwarves. Boy, it sure is fun being a dwarf. It's that synchronization with the visuals and the music that are a very key, and it's impossible to miss that component in the original. It's so deliberate. And this one doesn't have that. Partially, and it shouldn't be this way because there's nothing about it being live action that means that you can't synchronize the songs and the music and what's happening visually. They just don't really bother at all with a lot of it. So you don't
The
have
problem
something
is,
to latch
again,
onto.
It is that focus on making everything bigger. I mean, you saw it in The Little Mermaid as well, right? Like Under the Sea was expanded and made like bigger, but it's lamer because they're not like cartoon fish and stuff playing actual like musical instruments and everything. It's like, yeah, you made it bigger, but it's lamer. And it's the same here. Like Hi Ho is just lamer. Why are they riding around on mine carts like in Indiana Jones? What are we doing?
Well, and you get
Yeah.
like that shot in the thumbnail. There's all this. It's obnoxious as fuck, and it's like, why are you ruining the one thing I might have expected you could get right?
When
Yeah, it's just
Anastasia
all
is
you need
just
to
sort
do
of
is do
walking
the
through the
song.
snow on the road, singing about the journey to the past, right? There's just good visuals of her doing a fairly simple thing. Then she gets on the car and rides it for a little bit. She encounters the family and the thing that she wishes she had, and she bids them farewell, and she takes the dog with her, and they go towards St. Petersburg. Nothing in that is exciting. Nothing in that is crazy or wild. They're fairly normal things happening, but they're relevant to the lyrics that she's singing, and they're animated really well, so you remember that they happened.
I saw
I
someone
mean,
in chat.
the songs are in Anastasia are more used to like they're good at expressing feeling. It's not about how much shit is in the background or like how much fancy special effects we can show off. It's about the feeling. That's why it works so well, because it's about the feeling and you can connect with it.
They have relevant visuals. Yeah,
I was going to say they're pretty marvelous
songs
to
that
look
are
at
supposed to
a lot of the time, though. Okay, because whenever I picture In the Dark of the Night, I still think about it like him descending his like spiral staircase.
Jeremy Irons, right?
Yeah, and it's like the icing on the cake. It's not just the cake.
If it's relevant, if a song in that movie is supposed to be full of grandeur, like Once Upon a December, with the ghosts and the palace and the like what could have been, and it's appropriate visuals for the song. when Rumors in St. Petersburg, when the movie kind of opens up, it's just people kind of talking, going about their daily lives. There's a rumor, and everyone's whispering to each other, and they're like, hush, hush, don't let people know, but there's a rumor going on that Anastasia's alive, and it's just normal people doing normal tasks. And you get all sorts of different little, voice actors in the parts of the song, different places, the guy working the boiler and his butt's frozen, and, the old ladies and everything just shuffling around, doing their daily chores. It's appropriate to what is being said. But it's also exciting because there's a lot of variety.
I wanted to highlight, someone in chat said, like, why did they ruin Be Prepared in the live-action remake? Well, if you don't know, like, they didn't have it in there. Well, it wasn't. It
was a panic ad.
Yeah, and like the trailer, was it the trailers or was it just confirmation that they didn't have it? And then the fans were like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Everybody was baffled, and then they put it in later on.
Yeah, it's like a rushed.
They put in a shitty
version.
talking version of it. Yeah,
basically
painful to look at.
I don't know why that's made me. Gal Gadot has a musical number in this one.
Okay, not to, this will be our
too, but
a cooperative sort of like acting and song topic. But I will say, I don't know if it is the same for anyone else, but the most enjoyment I had in this movie were her scenes.
Yeah,
yeah, they were the funniest, reliably
like,
so.
I'm so glad.
I genuinely wouldn't say that she was the worst actor in this movie. I don't think she was. I mean, it might be because I was taking joy out of how bad she was. But I thought Rachel Ziegler was worse in the sense that she know that she's acting to camera. She's doing the insufferable theatre kid shout to the back of the room thing whilst wearing this permanently pained expression of virtue, which I can't fucking stand. And it's the
she
one
keeps jutting her jaw out.
It's that and the eyebrows. And it's just like the eyebrows do all the acting, but she only has like 2 eyebrow modes, and they're both horrible. But Gal Gadot, at least, I think she was having fun, and you can kind of tell that. And I'm not convinced she was the worst singer because I think the Prince, not Prince guy was also quite bad. But it's hard to tell because they are both auto-tuned so much that I don't even know if they ever sung a line.
Yeah. For me, I mean, maybe I'm not sure if we're agreeing or disagreeing with this, but like I thought that Gal Gadot ran on 2 modes that I enjoy both of them. One being the stunned model, where she can't express anything; she's just delivering lines, and the other is where she's like desperately breaking through it because she knows she has to emote, but she doesn't quite know how to control it. And but like bobbing between those two, I was enjoying the hell out of it. Whenever she had to express something angry, it was awful in the best way. I was enjoying the hell out of it.
The people don't need luxuries.
She could do like awkward frustration, kind of. But that's not a substitute for being angry.
There's going to be a great compilation once this film is like available
of
for people
to see.
Faces
and the all of the.
The standard compilations that are out right now are about to double in size once this film comes out.
Oh yeah, they will. There will be new company for. I need you to give me this stone.
I was about to make a joke with the diamond and the flower. Damn it!
Enough champagne to fill denial. There will be more to add into that.
She's not learned shit. She's wonderfully awful. She's borderline like kind of like I almost maybe I won't be sad if I see her in anything now because I'll be like, please, more of that. It's so funny.
I mean, I think it's just unbelievable, essentially, that she's managed to get to be in like so many movies and big budget like movies, and yet she just can't act.
She's so bad.
It is beyond her. She can't do it. She just can't act. And then they have to make her act and sing and dance at the same time. It's like, why would you do that?
I was so happy to see it because the way I saw it was like, you did that? Good for you, when you know you can't.
What is what I never saw it, though my mom and my sister speak highly of it, the Maleficent movie.
Oh yeah. Angelina Jolie, right?
With Angelina Jolie plays the Maleficent. And boy, does she look the part. So I've never seen it, but maybe I should check it out because they said it was decent. But just seeing her, it kind of an interesting. It's quite a look.
Yeah, like really sharp cheekbones and the horns and everything. Yeah. It's kind of like trying to exaggerate it a bit more.
Like she kind of looks like in this Gal Gadot sort of looks like the animated one, but. That's kind of like all you can really
she
say.
Certainly does not capture the same kind of I mean, is it even worth saying that she doesn't capture the same vibe at all?
I'll give you it's a given, but we'll say it anyway. The actress behind the Queen in the original is way better. She captures like the evil dictating ruler person, but when she transitions to the crone sort of thing, she's like She captures it perfectly.
We've talked about a lot of the characters. We've talked about the songs and how shitty they are. Visually, one of the things I noticed about this movie, this is very much a CGI sludge movie.
Yes.
A lot of the times you want to ask yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say I like to call I like to call movies like this like a CGI bouncy house, where it's just like a bunch of CGI shit bouncing around just to keep you alert and focused on anything, because the rest of the fucking film
accentuated
is just
by the fucking
I think I know
mine.
what you mean.
The
so
mine
if
sequence.
the mine sequence is a really good explanation of that. If you contrast the mine segment where the dwarves are introduced in the remake, and then you go back and just go through the original, pick some random frames. You can kind of go anywhere in the movie. The movie is colorful but never garish. The colors blend in naturally with one another. It's very pleasant to look at, and it helps that like all of the backgrounds are hand drawn and painted, and they look absolutely gorgeous. And by the way, what's on my mind? One of the things that I thought was really fun about the original was, remember, no digital stuff in the original. So when they made the original Snow White, and they had to make it for all of the different languages, Spanish and German and Swedish and all that sort of stuff, they had specific different frames for all of the scenes where the beds of the dwarves are, because the beds of the dwarves have their names on it. So they had to do one of those for each language that the film was in, to have the different names be in the different languages. And they had to do that manually. That wasn't something you could just like copy paste. They had to make individual ones. And I thought that was really neat to see. It just goes to show, oh shit, yeah, the text in our movie, we can't just put we don't want to put just like closed captions over it. That would look stupid and out of place. We're drawing more beds, boys. And so that's exactly what they did with Snow White. But yeah, the original was colorful without being garish. The colors blended together really pleasantly. The wood beams inside the house and the shadows. By the way, one of the cool things about the original as well is that they made sure that, and you see this when Snow White and Dopey go up and down the stairs with a candle, or when they are peering into doorways with a candle, the way that the light illuminates the room, they probably had an entire separate layer to just be the shadow layer on top of everything else. But as the candle moves in the scene, they illuminate different parts of the background. And as the candle moves, it casts different shadows depending on the direction. When Dopey holds the candle in front of him, his shadow's behind him. When he holds the candle kind of back a bit, the shadow becomes in front of him. And at those little realistic touches that look really awesome in the movie to see. And you appreciate it doubly when you know that this isn't some, AI simulation or like modern graphics program. It's all hand-drawn, 100% totally deliberate.
It's also like it's quite remarkable that there's more attention to detail of like lighting and composition in shots for the animated one than there is for the supposedly live action one where light theoretically exists. I don't remember a single scene in the remake which has got like blocking or use of shadows as a dramatic tool or anything like that. None of it's there. It's all very. It just looks, even the bits that probably aren't done on a green screen all look like they're on a green screen because it's just sort of the colorscape of vomit all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it's of the era, isn't it? It's nothing we haven't seen a million times before, and it puts your eyes to sleep. It's like, thanks for whatever this gunk is. Despite the fact that what sucks to know is that potentially hundreds of thousands of fucking, like, slave-driven innocent folk in an editing dungeon had to make it, and you're like, man, feel bad, because nobody will appreciate that aspect. We're only seeing sludge, I'm sorry.
I don't know what this movie's box office is. I hope it's very low. I hope this sends a very clear message. I don't know anyone who likes it. I only hear ridicule from it.
Sad reality is, even if it is a complete flop, they're already like almost drained all of this section of films, if you know what I mean. Like
I know what you mean in the sense that they've drained all of the expected ones because they've done most of the Renaissance films. They've done a considerable number of the classics anyway, and so now really what's left is new, which I think for a long time would almost seem like they wouldn't do anything after 2000, right? Like that's too recent. But I mean, Moana. Now that Moana's being done, it's like, oh well, Tangled, you should expect that very soon. And of course, maybe Treasure Planet is on the cards. Maybe. That might be more. But Wreck-It Ralph maybe would be something that they'd be considering, or Bolt, or any of these movies. And also
live
just
action Bolt, jeez.
Yeah, maybe. That wouldn't surprise me as an option. Or alternatively, that there are still a few that they haven't done Hercules yet, which I think wasn't the Russo brothers. They were meant to be doing that, right? But who knows if that's happening at this point.
Can totally imagine too that say this flops, they have their board meeting, and I just picture so many bean counter people being like, I guess people don't like Snow White. Try that Monsters Inc. one, or try this, try that. Like, it's not a matter of, no, the thing you made was horrendous. It's like, no, people just don't care about Snow White. That's all it is.
I was just looking it up. I think it's predicted for a 45 million opening weekend, which is fairly close to the live-action Dumbo film I forgot existed.
That flopped,
and slightly less than half of what The Little Mermaid got in the same time.
Okay, slightly less than half of what? And Little Mermaid, because I think it made like 500 million, but when the film cost like $250 million, it's like, oh, that's not good. These films are a bit too expensive to make only like 300 or 400 million dollars. Is not good enough.
I've seen people asking, do you think they'll go for Hunchback? I think they've talked about it and they're not sure what to do.
Oh, they've had many meetings where they lay out all of the potential victims.
I'm surprised they haven't done Tarzan, because Tarzan was quite successful. Like, it was basically the last hyper successful, aside from Lilo and Stitch, of the traditionally animated films. I'm kind of surprised that one hasn't been done yet. But they are probably thinking like, ooh, Pocahontas, ooh, wonder about that. And Hunchback would be in that same category as well.
They think they're going to do Pocahontas, but they're like, well, we can't actually cast like Native Americans. That would be insulting. We have to make CGI abominations.
Some of this stuff would actually tangle them. I actually think that with the Hunchback of Notre Dame, they'd be like, well, we can't have an actual Hunchback. And it's like, no, but we have to, though, because otherwise it would be offensive not to. And it's like, no, but it's offensive too.
Yeah,
like
they can't
and then like
the
Christian elements of Frollo and the cathedral,
which is
like
significant. That is significant, and I mean, if Daredevil is any indication, they're not very interested.
Don't remind me.
Church once,
we are mere days from a double episode coming out.
We are. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. But I mean, the reality is that they still have a lot. Your typing is quite loud.
Oh, sorry, damn it.
Not so good. I was just momentarily distracted. The reality is, even though they've done a lot, there's still like a lot available to them, and of course, there is almost the Pandora's box that is Pixar, which I'm sure that they are talking about more and more. Especially, the fact that they're making an Incredibles 3. I'm sure they
Toy
are.
Story
They're
5.
like, oh, and Toy Story 5, and unfortunately, here's the big problem. Wasn't it something that it was somebody? It might have been Bob Iger that said something along the lines of Pixar's going to be doing like less original films and more sequels. And then those sequels that they did release ended up making like Inside Out 2 made over $1 billion. The lesson learned was, oh yeah, do more sequels. That is the signal that would have been received by them, is make more sequels. And it'll be the same with remakes as well, is that there was so much money that they used to make on them that they will probably forever be chasing those returns. I think it's in the same situation as the MCU, where they'll be thinking like, oh man, remember in like 2017 when 3 movies made $800 million? It's like, oh shit, that's some good shit. We want to get back to there. Or with the live action remakes 2019, where they had 4 of them come out that year, and 2 of them made well over $1 billion. Like, oh yeah, they want to get them Aladdin and Lion King returns. So they'll keep doing it. They'll come for them all sooner or later. This film failing won't change anything.
No.
It will not be. It'll
Like I
just
said,
be seen as, oh, we just didn't do this one right.
Yeah, I don't. Considering the fact that they've stayed so consistent, like there's so many things we could put them all into like a big leaderboard and connect so many different patterns of just how wrong they do everything. Not like they've evolved. If anything, people say that Cinderella is the best of them all, and that was one of the earlier ones. So
that was
My mom and sister said that. They said that Cinderella was really good, and they really like Beauty and the Beast. But
I've heard Beauty and the Beast is pretty horrible.
Yeah,
I've heard it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But they said they liked Cinderella and Maleficent a whole bunch. So,
well, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like if we're to believe
ones.
that is the better of the pack, and they're right at the front, then it's only going to get much. If this is any indication of where we're at, it's like, so they've learned nothing, and we're heading for the pit, basically.
You guys realize Lilo and Stitch is going to be bad. Like, having Stitch be there, photorealistic, interacting with like real people, and then having him use fucking hologram disguises instead of wearing like silly costumes.
That one's going to upset us all, because I know that all of us love Lilo and Stitch quite a bit.
And of
I
course,
really like Lilo and Stitch.
You're in the fun realm now of DreamWorks is starting to dabble in live action remakes. Live action Shrek, you better believe that's on the cards.
Gross.
That is absolutely on the cards. Maybe even a live-action Kung Fu Panda where it's not live action; it's just entirely, but it's like The Lion King and Pride Rock and like trying to make it like, oh yeah, no, this isn't animation because it's like photorealistic animation that makes it live action, and they'll do that for Kung Fu Panda. You want a photorealistic snow leopard fighting a photorealistic red panda in the sky? That'll be coming sooner or later. But I mean, in reality, it's probably more like Shrek is the one that you should seriously be worried is going to be done in live action.
I assume I'm speaking for myself and possibly Fringy, not sure about anyone else, but with something like a Snow White, I have a great appreciation for the original, so the new one bothers me to the point of pissing me off. But if they touch Pixar's golden age, that's something else.
That's going to drive me insane, and it's the same for Mauler. It's probably the same for Rags as well. Might be the same for literally all of us here.
It might be, yeah.
It will definitely be a different line that is crossed.
Because, like, I feel like, the more information we have and the fact that we would have watched Snow White, it's like we get the frustration here completely. But if they make a live-action WALL-E, it might be time for a...
live-action WALL-E. Live-action WALL-E, that's a terrifying thought, isn't it?
They'll use one of those repurposed droids from the little Star Wars movie shows they made.
It's just, I don't know. The problem is that they probably are thinking, because it'd be like with Ratatouille, it's like, how viable is Ratatouille? It's like, well, most of the characters are human. You just got to worry about Remy. But they're not worried about it because they made Mufasa and Simba. They just had to be photorealistic lions. Like, so,
it's all there. It's all ready to go.
It is, and I think it's clear at this point that Disney isn't very interested in doing what they kind of did for a long time, which was, I don't know that you could say that Pirates of the Caribbean is an original movie in the sense that it's based on a ride, but like, I mean, it was like a story that they created. You know what I mean? Like, it was based on a ride, but there's a difference between that and just like remaking a movie that you've already made before. Disney used to like make occasionally original films, but unfortunately the results were too inconsistent, so they decided to keep doing remakes.
Another unfortunate aspect of all the fucking remakes is it just lets us know in a really loud way all of your bad opinions on the originals. It's like, this needs to be changed, this needs to be, and you're like, no, can you shut up? Like, and it's like, no, I have the IP, and you're like, right, fantastic.
Yeah, you see, like, because I mean, it's safe to assume that the attitude that was in the minds of at least all of the key decision makers on this film, on this remake, was that they were making the better movie. Because if they didn't think that, why would they make so many changes? Why wouldn't they just stay as close to the original as possible if they didn't think that it needed to be changed and updated and improved?
I think that was the purpose of the line as well, wasn't it? When the Queen says, "I don't remember you being so opinionated," which just read to me as such a meta comment on like the change in the quality of the protagonist in the remake versus the original.
No, it speaks
this
up
new
now.
Updated version has opinions on things because women are allowed to have those now.
Well, I mean, Snow White had opinions on they're not allowed to eat her food unless they wash up, but like I guess that was just considered too boring and mundane. That doesn't count as her having a perspective.
She needs to be the queen. Needs to lead. Okay. She needs to save the bandits from the soldiers. She needs to defeat them using her incredible intelligence. She needs to ride that horse. She needs to instruct all the dwarves on how to do everything in their lives. It's like I said, obnoxious and insecure, and it's so consistent throughout. It's annoying. She will lead, damn it. Okay.
Well, didn't they do the same thing with Jasmine in Aladdin, where they're like, "Oh no, see this version of Jasmine, she's more like assertive." It's like, I'm sorry, do we watch the same? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not even like, what are you suggesting? What are you implying about the original iteration of the character? Wasn't it something said as well about for the Lion King as well? Oh damn. Oh, it eludes me now, but a similar observation about God damn it. All right. I know that these are things that have been said before. It's probably said about Belle as well for the remake of Beauty and the Beast. It's like kind of persistent. Or it's said about Ariel as well, right? Like, oh, Ariel, she wants more than just, like a prince. It's like, sorry, what? That was okay. Never mind. What? They haven't watched? Have they watched these movies? Do
No.
they even remember what happens in the movies? Or are
Those
they?
old
Or is
movies
it-
are
like we
problems
highlighted
to be solved.
with Snow White caring for the bird, getting switched out for handing an apple and being told she's kind, and then the whole switching out the pig's heart for the apple. You have these questions of just like, why did you do stupider? Like, what are you guys doing? It's
Yeah,
right
you didn't do
there.
different. You did stupid.
And yeah, you don't understand what the fuck is happening. You have to imagine there's some logic at the time of them constructing those scenes where some idiot was like, actually, it's way better if we do it with this. Like someone just said, like, replace it with an apple. Why? Well, it's kind of thematic, isn't it? Because apple, there are apples in.
Nobody on set was
There were
like, but wait,
apples.
is the huntsman actually trying to kill himself here?
Right.